What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and today we're comparing the 4th generation Apple TV to the NVIDIA Shield. And I won't be going into every little detail here, but instead, some of the things that are most important to me. But before we get in depth with either option, let's take a look at the specifications between the two. First up, we have the 4th generation Apple TV, which packs a dual-core A8 processor, 2 GB of RAM, either 32 or 64 GB storage options, and also an HDMI 1.4 port, and yes, that means no 4K this time around, but maybe next year. Next, we have the NVIDIA Shield rocking a quad-core Tegra X1 processor, 3 GB of RAM, either 16 or 500 GB storage configurations, and HDMI 2.0. You can also expand the storage with an external drive using one of its 2 USB 3.0 ports, or utilize the micro SD card slot on the backside. One of the major future-proof features that the Shield has to offer over the Apple TV is going to be 4K video support, and content may be limited for now, but it's totally the future. In fact, I'm baffled by Apple's decision to omit 4K video because, well, even the freaking new iPhone shoots 4K. Along with that, both devices can also pair up to Bluetooth headphones for a private media experience, but overall in the specifications department, I gotta give the win to NVIDIA. With the Apple TV, you get the new Siri remote that is pretty cool and features a touchpad for navigation, and you also have the ability to purchase an Apple certified third-party gamepad, which will work with select games from the App Store. Though all games support the use of the Siri remote for playing, but we'll get into that in a little bit. The NVIDIA Shield is a bit opposite in the contents department. By default, the Shield comes with a gamepad instead of a standard remote. Now, the remote can be purchased separately if you're looking for something more traditional, but essentially, with both set-top boxes, you're getting everything needed to properly enjoy the experience. As far as software goes, there's a big difference between the two. The Apple TV is running tvOS, while the NVIDIA Shield is running Android TV. There's a lot of cool stuff here with tvOS, but the main additions we'll focus on will be Siri support and the new App Store. And those are essentially the added benefits you're going to care about, aside from the redesigned look and feel, but the interface is pretty damn smooth. Now, Siri support is awesome, and you can easily take advantage of it by holding down the dedicated button on the remote, and this will allow you to perform a variety of searches for things like movies, TV shows, actors, sports scores, team lineups, and so much more. It's nice, but it's not nearly as extensive as Siri is on the iPhone or iPad. The App Store is a fantastic addition here because instead of having a bunch of preloaded crap you might not use, you have the ability to pick and choose. In the App Store, you'll find cord-cutting apps like HBO Now, Crackle, Netflix, MLB, NBA, and even Plex for playing content from a local media server. And you can also AirPlay content from your iOS device or mirror your device's screen. Gaming on the Apple TV is pretty cool, but there's nothing at this point early on that has blown my socks off. There are a lot of games available, but mostly large-scale versions of apps you'll find on iPhone or iPad. All games can be played with the Siri remote, and in some cases using it like a Wii remote, which is nice, but you'll need the controller for a more traditional gaming experience, though it's not required. Gaming here is nice and certainly a big selling point, but it's far from a console-like experience. On the NVIDIA side of things, if you're familiar with Android TV, you'll feel right at home here. It's completely integrated with Google services, so you have the Play Store and any apps compatible with the TV platform. There's also Google search integration directly from the remote or controller via the built-in microphone, and this is a far more extensive implementation than Siri in my opinion, and will allow you to quickly search for content across available services without sifting through different menus. There's also Google's Cast service, which will allow you to cast movies, music, and other content from Android or iOS devices straight to the TV. As mentioned, the NVIDIA Shield features 4K or UHD support at 60 frames per second, and that doesn't change the fact that 4K content is super limited, but there are apps such as Netflix and YouTube that support 4K streaming. Like Apple TV, there's a ton of app potential for cord cutting here, but the Play Store currently has the advantage when it comes to the number of those kind of apps available. The NVIDIA Shield is definitely a gaming first device. Aside from the small games that you can get in the Play Store, you can have a truly light PC or console style gaming experience. There are games here that work specifically with the Shield's Tegra X1 processor, but if you really want to step things up, the best move is to sign up for NVIDIA's GeForce Now cloud gaming service. Think of this like Netflix for gaming. It'll allow you to stream PC games from the cloud to your TV at up to 60 frames per second in 1080p. There are a ton of dope titles like Brutal Legend, Witcher 2, Grid Grid, and even some premium purchasable games like Witcher 3. Now the only downside is that GeForce Now will cost you $7.99 per month, but there is a 3-month free trial available. I'm just not sure that that expense is worth it over playing on a traditional setup, as the graphics aren't on the same level as a PC or a gaming console, but they may be good enough for most people. At the end of the day, we have two completely different platforms that certainly cater to different audiences. If you're into gaming, chances are the NVIDIA Shield is going to offer a much better experience. Though the 4th Gen Apple TV is coming along with its App Store, but no games will match the gaming experience on the Shield. That being said, sometimes Android TV can be a little clunky and awkward to navigate when compared to tvOS. Apple has the smooth experience down, and I'm a big fan of what's happening here. But let's be honest here, the Shield crushes Apple TV in many departments like specifications and what's actually available right now, but the Apple TV is cheaper and its content library is growing, with a base model running at $149, while the base NVIDIA Shield will set you back $199. The fact is that if you're invested in the Apple or Android ecosystem, the choice is going to be obvious. But for myself, I definitely have to give the win to the NVIDIA Shield in many departments like specifications and available content. tvOS is nice and it's growing daily with new apps coming out all the time, but it's a matter of whether or not you want to wait for that platform to expand. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this comparison. Thanks again for watching, everyone. This is Dom, and I'll catch you in the next video.